Okay, so you've probably seen a harp in a movie or maybe a cartoon, right? It always looks super elegant, kind of magical. But let's just forget all that for a minute. Today, we're not just looking at some old instrument. We are basically unboxing a seriously complex piece of acoustic tech. So let's pop the hood and see what really makes this thing tick. I mean, seriously, just look at it. It's massive, it's got a ridiculous number of strings, and wait, are those pedals at the bottom? What's up with that? How does just plucking one of those strings fill an entire concert hall with that amazing sound? Well, that's exactly the question we're going to answer. And to do that, we're going to do a full-on virtual teardown. Yeah, that's right. We're going to check out the hardware. The strings, the soundboard, the pedals, to figure out how this ancient invention produces one of the most iconic sounds in all of music. All right, first up in our teardown, the most obvious part. When you look at a harp, the first thing you see is just this wall of strings. But there's actually a super clever system hidden right there in plain sight. A standard, full-size concert harp has, get this, 47 strings. 47. So how in the world does a harpist not get totally lost in all of that? Well, the answer is basically built into its design. It's kind of like its user interface. And this is just so smart. The strings are color-coded. Think of it like UI highlights in a video game. The red C strings and the blue or black F strings, they act like waypoints on a map. They give the player these instant visual clues so they can find any note they need in like a split second. It's honestly a brilliant piece of design. Okay, so we know how to find the right strings, but plucking them is really just the start. How do those tiny little vibrations become that huge, beautiful sound we all know? For that, we gotta look at the harp's core component, its sound engine. It's actually a pretty simple but super powerful three-step process. First, the player plucks a string, and that creates a tiny vibration. That vibration zips down into the hollow wooden body of the harp. That big part is called the soundboard. And this is the key. The soundboard is basically a giant, perfectly crafted acoustic speaker. It takes that tiny little vibration and just blasts it out as a rich, full note. And it's not just about pulling any old string. The player's technique is everything. This is where the human element is so important. They use the soft pads of their fingers, not their nails. That's what gives the harp its signature warm, round tone, instead of some sharp, twangy sound. It's this direct, physical connection between the player and the sound wave itself. Now, let's get to the killer feature. If the strings and the soundboard are the core hardware, then the pedals are the advanced upgrade. This is what really separates a beginner's instrument from a professional acoustic machine. Let's check them out. Down at the base of the harp, you'll find 7 pedals. Each one lines up with one of the 7 notes in the musical scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And these pedals, they are the key to unlocking the harp's full power. Okay, this is the best way to think about it. If a harp were a video game, the pedals are the hotkeys. They let a player instantly change the pitch of every single string of a certain note, like all the Cs or all the Fs, all at once. This means they can switch musical keys right in the middle of a song without ever missing a beat. And believe me, this is a massive power-up compared to smaller lever harps. On those, the player has to literally stop playing with one hand to go and flip a lever just to change one note. But the concert harp's pedal system, it lets the player keep both hands on the strings while their feet handle all the key changes. It's a total game changer for what's possible to play on the instrument. So, we've unboxed the hardware. We've seen the strings, the sound engine, and the pedal hotkeys. But what about the user? What does it actually take to master this incredible acoustic machine? Well, it is seriously difficult. First, you have to balance this huge, heavy thing on your shoulder. Then, you only use 4 fingers on each hand. Get this, your pinky is too weak to pluck the strings properly. You're reading 2 lines of music at once, just like a pianist, and you're doing all of that while operating 7 pedals with your feet. It's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach while playing a rhythm game with your feet. It's wild. But after all that hard work, after mastering that insane level of coordination, the player gets to unleash the harp's most famous and, let's be honest, magical sound. You have definitely heard this before. It's that dreamy, cascading rush of notes you hear in movies, usually right before a flashback or some magical moment happens. It's called the glissando, and it is the ultimate payoff. It's a quick, graceful sweep of the hand across the strings that instantly tells everyone listening, yep, you are hearing a harp. It is, without a doubt, the instrument's coolest, most recognizable feature. Okay, so we've torn it down, we've looked at the sound engine, the pedal hotkeys, and the intense skill it takes to actually play one of these things. So after all of that, what's the big idea? What's the one thing you should really remember from all this? The next time you see a harp, don't just see some old-fashioned instrument. See it for what it truly is, a really sophisticated piece of technology. A high-performance acoustic machine, perfected over thousands of years, that's just waiting for a skilled operator to come along and bring it to life.